Heather McDonald has got the juiciest scoop. When you're on the road, when you're on the go, Juicy Scoop is the show to know. She talks Hollywood tales, her real life Mr. Segment serial data and serial sister. You'll be addicted and addicted fast to the #1 tabloid real life podcast. Listen in, listen up. Woo woo. Heather McDonald, Juicy Scoop.
Hello and welcome to Juicy Scoop. You guys have been begging, you have been missing this daddy. He's been on daddy duty. Father of 2 adorable, blonde, blue-eyed baby boys that are crazy. Spencer Pratt, welcome back to Juicy Scoop.
Thank you so much. And thank you to everyone that comes up to me everywhere and shouts out Juicy Scoop. I appreciate it. Love taking photos. If it weren't for Heather, I wouldn't even feel relevant. So I'm so thankful. And all the comments section, I read them all. And it's a great community.
Thank you for bringing my Heidi Montag shirt. By the way, very soft t-shirt material.
Incredible. That's why I wear them every day.
She is
trending big time.
Big time trending. We're going to talk about Taylor Swift, but we have to talk about Heidi first. This is actually really amazing. All the songs that she's doing and all the...
Oh, no, it's insane.
That's so great. So, How much is she loving it?
That's why people, they're like, why is she doing this? I'm like, go on Spotify and look at her monthly listeners and then go look at all your favorite non-Dua Lipa, Taylor, normal pop people. Heidi has like million more than everybody. Like 1.2 million monthly listeners is crazy. One of them's at 70 million streams. And then on TikTok, it was 2 billion. And then in China, she's like famous. So we may be moving to China. So that's
moving or just going
if we
there
get
for a
there
little.
And we're real famous, I don't know how I'd leave that,
I mean, I think they would embrace you.
That's what I'm saying. Like, and I love Chinese food, so I could just.
Well, of course, your first music video that you ever did was when I did the parody and I was Heidi at the beach.
Higher. So I think about how rich we would have been if you could monetize. Like there was no YouTube. Your video, we would have got the money too. I'm like, gosh.
We did it at Chelsea lately, and I remember everyone was like, "Oh my God, have you guys seen this video?" And then the producers were like, "Would you go meet the producer at like 7 a.m? At this beach?" And I'm like, okay, let me find. I didn't want to wear a bathing suit because I was still like, my son was only about 1.5 years at the time. So I'm like, I found something like a tankini, the same color. And then the producer was you filming it. And I just did the whole thing in the water. And they put it on YouTube, as like a fan account because didn't want it to look like they were putting it on. And also was really weird. They never wanted us to have clips on YouTube because they were like, but it's airing in Brazil the next day. And we're like, great, great marketing there. But I know I didn't have my own YouTube channel or whatever. Oh. And then when Chelsea left they took it all down.
That was
and
viral hit.
It had millions of views. That was the #1 like Chelsea Lately clip was that parody of your music video.
The funniest part about that is it looks so like bootleg, but the editor that I randomly got to do it because he was a friend of a friend was the editor at the time of 24 with like Jack Bauer, like the dopest editor in the game. And he's like, you only have this one angle? Like, I'm not sure much I can do. He's used to like 50 shots or whatever, but that was like the editor of 24 did that.
That is amazing. This Juicy Scoop podcast is presented by Lash Paradise Mascara from L'Oreal Paris. Let's talk about lashes. It makes everybody's look better. But sometimes you feel like that mascara is just not doing the job. Well, I found something that's going to make you throw away the falsies. Lash Paradise Mascara from L'Oreal Paris. It lasts all day. I love the fluffy bristle brush because it gives a fuller looking lashes instantly. So you can drop the falsies. Lash Paradise Mascara gives you all the drama for your lashes. Order Lash Paradise now on Amazon.
Speaking of pop stars, was it Friday? I received a gift from Taylor Swift and I'm wearing part of it because it doesn't fit around my wrist. Taylor sent me a gold bracelet.
And what are the letters?
It says TT,
Oh, for the Poet Society or whatever. What is the name of it?
The Poets.
It's TTPD is the initials for it.
Go. That's what it says.
And we're going to get all into it. The other person that's right behind Heidi Montag and Taylor Swift is this girl, Heather McDonald. And she's going on tour.
Wow.
And I am going to be in Scottsdale, Phoenix area, May 3rd. Really fun. I'm doing stand-up. Julie's doing stand-up. And then Brandy, Julie, and I are going to do the hottest, funniest topics for you. I'm doing Denver with Julie as well on May 17th and 18th. Chris Frangiola in Temecula at Pachanga. San Diego in July. It's all at heathermcdonald.net. And then a bunch of fall dates on the East Coast as well. heathermcdonald.net. Okay, Now,
are you going to do an Eras experience ever? I feel like you should just play into that right now. And just have the Eras version.
No, I remember you always said you were a Swiftie. Of course, I've always enjoyed her music. I always respected that she wrote her own songs, played instruments, loved her mother, always thought she was great. Even when we would report on her back in the Chelsea Lately days and all that kind of stuff, people always wondered, she always writes about her boyfriends. I remember didn't she buy a house right next to one of the Kennedys that she was dating?
It's a nice area. I'm not going to say it's because of him. It's like saying, there's a certain group of...
who was the Kennedy that she bought? Who was was it a Kennedy?
Yeah, he was.
Who was it?
I don't know his name, but I mean, it's like saying...
That was so long ago.
There's like the Malibu Colony. There's this place in Hampton. So, it's not...
Right, that's true. That's true.
At the end of the day, these are mansions in the best area. It happened to maybe be near a guy she thought was cute. And
so when did you become hardcore Swiftie?
Rewind. I've met Taylor twice before I was a Swiftie. And her mom, when we were backstage, reminded us of these experiences. And that's how, big ego crazy I was at one time, that I had to be reminded meeting Taylor because, it was like, oh, would you like a photo? The reverse roles. So when the Kim Kanye conspiracy came out, I, off the jump, did not believe. I felt like it was an edit. So for backstory for our listeners.
Let's talk about that because they're saying two of the songs are about this incident. Cassandra and also the Amy one.
Amy.
Thank You, Amy, in which the writing of it is all lowercase, except the K from thank is a big K. Then you, A, little a, then big I, big M, E, small E. So people put that together as code that it was thank you, Kim, for being so awful to me because of that horrible experience, I'm at this higher level, which I could not relate to more in what I've experienced in the last 6 months. And so I love it, but please explain what the story is, because for those that are not super Swifties, you kind of remember it, you kind of don't. And
I
we need to
remember
explain.
it like it was yesterday.
Okay.
And that's why I became a Swiftie, because I related to it so much, because I always felt like I had been, hated by an edit that was out of my control. So that was this, how my parallel universe. So what happened was Kanye wrote this song.
Well, first, let's go back to she won the award and he hopped up on stage. Let's just remind people of that. That was that viral moment. She won Best Album. Beyonce
Best music video, I think, maybe. Was it?
Well, whatever she won, Beyonce was also up for it. And she won. And she got up and she's very excited. And this is 8-9 years ago. So she's that much younger and that much, it's still a huge star, but and he hops up on stage and goes, I gotta interrupt. He didn't even say interrupt. He's like, I gotta talk for a minute. Beyonce had the better album. And it was just this moment. Everyone was like, and Beyonce's dying. And, and so that happened. So they had that whole beef. Then they neutralize it, like she's like, I don't need you. I don't need any enemies. Oh, how cool that Kanye now thinks like now we're kind of friendly.
So then this song where he supposedly calls her up and asks for permission to say, I made, like, you owe me sex. I made you famous. I'm misquoting.
Yeah, it was like Taylor. I still think Taylor and I should have sex because I made that bitch famous.
She owes me sex.
She owes me sex because I made that bitch famous.
And said that and Kim said that he called and got permission. And on the show, the reality show, she said they filmed everything. They show clips where it looks like it. Taylor,
like him calling her.
And she like says, okay.
Kind of laughs and thinks it's sort of funny.
Then, this is when Kim and Kanye are the media. They're so famous.
Madly in love.
Yeah, madly. Everything's positive about them. So they make Taylor out to be some liar and like a snake. And then everyone hits her with the snake emojis.
Okay, so wait, like this is where it gets confusing for me, and maybe you don't have the answer. So the song comes out, and it also, the video is quite provocative. It has Caitlyn Jenner now laying there with all these people in a bed and a Taylor lookalike, right? Mm-hmm. And all these famous people in a bed laying down for that song. And does she then come out and go, I don't like this? Where did it come that then they said, but you said it was okay? That's where I'm confused.
That I would have to, time machine. But it was very clear she was, I think, not happy off the jump. Even when it was before the video, I think even just when the lyric came out is from my recollection.
So then Kim puts out this clip of him having the phone call and her laughing and saying, I like it or something.
Exactly. Boom. Now that's where the snake emojis come into play.
So now the world that believes that, which you would, because there's video proof. Woof. Wow, Taylor's a little whiny bitch.
Liar.
She's a liar. Yeah.
Liar. So then somebody, as Tree Payne, her legendary publicist, says in this famous tweet, and with the laugh emojis.
Wait, who's publicist? Kim's or
Taylor's?
Oh, Taylor's publicist.
Power player. We can't even say publicist. And she wrote, like, after she argue with Kim's tweet because she said that, look at even your publicist lied and this is not what I said and editing. And then Tree writes, who did you piss off to leak the whole tape or whatever with laugh emojis? Because the full edit gets leaked out. And in it, Taylor's like, not cool with it. She's like, yeah, I get that.
So someone leaked Kim's full edit.
Exactly.
And we don't know who did that.
We don't.
But it was someone who probably worked for her or somewhere in it that doesn't like her.
I was thinking that if I was Taylor, I would figure out who's involved in that and I would have offered like $1 million cash. Like, I want to believe that that she went around, knew that and said, I know there's the real cut. I'm going to find out whoever. So they put out the real cut
that proves that this was a edit that was originally put out by Kim.
And she says on it, which is now famous clip, I'm misquoting. She's like, I get that you didn't know who I was at this time, but I had sold 7 million records.
Taylor says that.
Taylor, as in like, you didn't make me famous. Like I was already sold 7 million records. So she says that like banger line and just says like, no, like I'm not cool with this. And it's totally not at. So then she gets the redemption. But I became a Taylor Swift fan before that redemption when everyone was hating on her. And I watched her whole crew turn on her, like all the people you always saw, these groups of these models with their, these squads.
What happens in Hollywood, whether it's music or podcasting or whatever, they go with the bigger star.
What's supposedly in the positive or looks more right in the spin. And
the one that put out the lie first. My sister's a criminal defense attorney, says this is why it's harder to be a criminal defense attorney, because you look at the person who's been arrested, who's on trial, and 70-80% are going to be like, well, obviously that person's guilty. So now you as a defense attorney has to prove that they're not. It's always going to be harder to be on the defense. So when there's a lie that goes out first, it is forever, there's going to be people that still don't know
all these details.
You're saying now. They still might remember the story Kim put out 8 years ago, and they're just hearing about the truth now because not everyone follows up on everything,
So that's when I became a hardcore Swiftie. When I saw everyone turn against her, I was like, I'm going to ride with Taylor. And so every single day I make my coffee and I play Look What You Made Me Do. And because I was just feeling it, I was like, because I felt her energy, like I'm going to snap on this. Like, I'm not going to let you break me down. And it was such like, I felt like it was like a Tupac album, you know, like it had such like gangster energy. Like I'm not going to give in to this lie and let you define me or whatever. So that's why I became a Swiftie. And then that was when we were invited to go to the Reputation concert, and we're sitting there first row, which was already like crazy.
And Reputation was before Eras, or this is the same?
Yeah, Reputation is like 2017, I think. And somebody comes up and is like, Taylor would like to see you backstage. I'm like, excuse me? So we go backstage before the show at the Rose Bowl. Taylor's like in like her like dressing gown, like no phone, nothing. And just was as sweet as any human's ever been. Like, for real, like no attitude.
She knew that you're one of the few people that like fucking rode hard and stuff. And I know you're one of the few people for me.
Exactly. And her mom said that to me. She's like, we watched when everyone was, all her people, and you were there hyping Taylor. Like we saw that. I was like, okay. And I never thought I'd be backstage in Taylor Swift when she's like, you know, I didn't think doing my coffee, it was not like an agenda. I never thought I'd end up with Taylor and her mom with them. So it was just like out of body. So then since then, it's harder now being like a Swiftie because people don't know this backstory and they think like I'm like a clout hanger jumping on. Like I'm like, no, like I was doing this when everyone was hating. Like it wasn't when it was a negative thing, you know, now, you know, so it is what it is.
And what I love about it is being someone that's been through a similar, much smaller scale, obviously, but the pain I think is very similar, where you felt like the acts of someone that you thought you were good with, them putting it out there, and then all of a sudden she got hate and was told she was a liar and a little whiny bitch. And I don't think she had ever experienced anything like that. And it was, as she said, career debilitating. It was creatively debilitating. She kind of went in a little hole in every sense of the word for a couple years until she was able to come out of it creatively and make the lemonade of the songs. And so the fact that she wrote all these songs, 31 songs, amazing. I don't know how she had time to do that between the tour and falling in love with Travis. I don't understand how she had time to do all this.
I think it's on the jet, I would imagine. You know, like you're riding on the jet. You're just like so upset on the jet. Just
like amazing. But that's showing someone who's truly creative, because normal, like when I'm done performing or whatever, I'm like, the last thing I'm doing is like writing a script before I go out on stage and do stand-up. Like it's the same thing. Like you think that the downtime would be the downtime. And I love that about her. But when I see some of the comments about, this song's about the Kim situation, and people have been like, oh my God, it's 8 years, get over it. It's like, no, she doesn't have to get over it. And she's being super smart and clever and classy about it and making it fun for all the fans to figure it out. She's the female Shakespeare of our time. I fucking love it.
You also spend more time on Instagram comment section. On the TikTok comment section, it's like, get her, you know, like it's weird. Comment sections have like different types of personalities. So if you check, you know, there's a lot of TikToks.
Oh, I'm sure there's a lot for all for Taylor, and like, you don't ever have to get over someone completely fucking you over and lying about you with the goal of trying to ruin your career, and not just career, friendships. People don't, then you've got stink on you. People don't want to be seen with you. They don't want to be talking to you. They don't want to go to an event with you. And they try to act like, oh, they're busy or whatever. And you don't realize it's happening. After it happens and it all settles and you see all of it, it is awesome to know where everyone really stands. It is a gift. And that's why she says, thank you, Kim.
So have you been playing a lot of Taylor? I feel like you should just like in the car on the way to Juicy Scoop, like what you made me do.
Yeah. I mean, I have a lot of people also sending me stuff going, listen to this lyric. This is what you've been through, because they've been through it with me for the last 6 months. And I know I'm not the only one. And that can see a relation, you know, whatever it is. It might have happened to you in high school. It might have happened to you at your job in insurance. Like this happens in every kind of industry where someone puts out a lie about you. But this was, a huge, obviously, two huge stars. And I love that she's like, what was the song about? your child's coming home from school singing about.
Oh, and there really is the clip of like North singing or whatever.
Oh,
like already this has happened. Like
right.
we're North, but yeah, your child will be coming home and you'll know that song's about you. I mean, but I'm so on a different thing. I think Kim loves this. Like that's how I think Kim is like.
The only reason she's not going to love it is because she has kids. And because Taylor's such a big deal, and because the kids' friends are going to know this, and they're going to be like, yeah, don't you know what this song is about? There's no way that North isn't talking with her little friends at 11 or 12 years old that she is, that they're not like, what this story is really about. And there might be a moment where North being sassy, like as your kids get older, you start having like arguments, and whether it's political or whatever, and you're like screaming at your kid, and you're like, but you don't get it. I've been on this earth longer. Like, so whatever. So we already know that North, it speaks your mind. So that is where I think she might not love it at this time, and why she's not addressing it, which I actually think is probably wise.
Yeah.
Don't address it. And, but I also think she doesn't want to admit what she did is wrong. So I get that. But what I do think could be a great lesson to the bully, whether you're Kim Kardashian, doing something that maybe even your husband made you do, we don't know, or together, we don't know. I'm just saying they're divorced now, but like you did this thing. She could honestly say right now, when I did this, it was not to ruin Taylor's career. I did not think that she would be suicidal or never do another song. That was not in my intention when I did this. But the lesson to be learned from everybody, whether you're a 12-year-old being a bitch to someone in 7th grade or you're 50, know that this type of shit can really affect people, even if it wasn't your intention to affect them that much. And even if they strive and are doing well afterwards, it still doesn't mean that what you did was any less painful. Just because you didn't destroy them doesn't mean that it was any less painful to the person that wasn't destroyed. It was still awful. And that's what I love about the lesson. And that Kim can learn that lesson too. And people should learn from Kim's perspective. A lot of people are Kims in situations and they need to learn from it too.
Yeah, if Kim did that, like there would be blowback, like you like, but I would be like, oh, there we go. Like I can watch the Kardashians now, but I don't know if we'll be able to if Chris is in jail.
Oh yeah, we're going to get into that. Wait, but also the photo that they shared through, there's been so many articles from Page 6, whatever. This is a one where it's cut from like at Kim's waist, but there was one where they were standing together and Kim was pregnant and it wasn't a flattering photo and she didn't enjoy being pregnant. And everyone's like, okay, Page 6, like great photo that you chose. When they choose like an ugly photo. It. This Juicy Scoop podcast is presented by Lash Paradise Mascara from L'Oreal Paris. Let's talk about lashes. It makes everybody's look better. But sometimes you feel like that mascara is just not doing the job. Well, I found something that's going to make you throw away the falsies. Lash Paradise Mascara from L'Oreal Paris. It gives so much more volume and length. It's perfect for that done-up eye look. It can take you from day into night. It lasts all day. I love the fluffy bristle brush because it gives a fuller looking lashes instantly. Really that intense volume and length of Lash Paradise gives that luxe level lashes that I love. Whether I do a full eye look or I just put on the mascara, it really ups my look. And people are like, what is going on with your lashes? Are those fake? No, they're not. That's what I love about it. So you can drop the falsies. Lash Paradise Mascara gives you all the drama for your lashes. Order Lash Paradise now on Amazon. What if you could take a weekly shot and lose weight and keep it off? I've spent tons of money on the juice cleanses that didn't work, the hours of cardio, the ice baths. No, thank you. The $20 smoothies. Are you kidding? That are probably just filled with sugar anyway? No, it didn't work. Well, now I found something that does. Row Body Program provides access to the most popular weight loss shots on the market. The Row Body Program pairs a weekly shot with healthy lifestyle changes so you can lose 15 to 20% of your weight in a year on average and actually keep it off. Over 200,000 people have already chosen Row to help them lose weight. Average weight loss is 15 to 20% in 1 year. With healthy lifestyle changes, BMI and other eligibility criteria apply. Go to ro.co/juicyscoop. Sign up today and you'll pay just $99 for your first month and $145 a month after that. Medication costs are separate. That's ro.co/juicyscoop. So is there anything more about the Taylor Swift?
Well, yeah, the big drama was the hooded sweatshirt that she gave me.
Yes.
I spilled on because I get this Erewhon breakfast sandwich pretty much every day, and the egg is always cooked through. It's never exploded. It's like and so I took a bite like I usually do, and it explodes all over my brand new.
So you got the PR box, which was that bracelet.
Yeah, the bracelet and a cute hooded sweatshirt.
And sweatpants
a record,
or just a sweatshirt?
Sweatpants.
Okay. A whole sweatsuit.
And a record and a note from Taylor. I will say the old notes used to say Spencer, but she's busy. She doesn't have to write. I have a long name. And I spilled all over it. So for the last 3 days, Heidi is so sick of me asking. I keep out and saying to her, so what do you think? You think I can email Tree and just say, hey, like I'm, trying to decide if I'm like going to email the most powerful person in the world right now and be like, can I get a new sweatshirt? And so I asked everyone on Snapchat, like, do not, like, just keep it moving.
What was the story with this Tree woman? And, maybe it was, I want to say it was a Blind Item reporter that was the one that said that the Travis and Taylor thing was not real. I think maybe DeuxMoi put that out.
Not Tree. It was somebody. It was Travis's publicist
said it, and then
a makeup artist or something.
And then Tree was like furious.
Yeah, Tree was the one that stepped in. Can we stop these? Okay, like burn down the house over there at DeuxMoi or whatever. Yeah. But she's nice to me, and she puts my spotted items, so I'm in. I want to be spotted. It's hard balance.
No problem.
But yeah, she got knocked out.
Okay, what about the guys that are mentioned in these articles?
So that was
I don't even know who these people are. Who is Joe Alwyn?
God, you're so funny. So she was with Joe for like 6 years.
And he is a singer-actor.
He's an actor.
Okay.
But he actually has writing credits on like one of her last projects. He makes $3 million a year off of, she let him write a song with him. He gets $3 million a year in publishing money.
Good.
I know. I mean, but what a nice freaking ex-girlfriend. Like, God.
And then,
and then Matt Healy was the guy that most, I guess, people speculate all the songs are written about, and people don't understand that it seemed like a short relationship. How could she have so much emotion for him? And then everyone in the comments section is like, have you never heard of a situationship? And, a lot of people relate to these it's like hot and fast, heavy.
Or they kind of were like, it seemed like it might have been more of an emotional relationship, situationship, emotional relationship, something with this guy. And that also, was he the one that was doing drugs? Who does drugs?
So he was like, her fans hated this guy because he said, I don't want to say allegedly maybe a racist comment, something about Ice Spice, which is ironic that then she uses Ice Spice, and she likes
Ice Spice a lot. That's where she was watching in Coachella. Yeah,
but this was pre any of that, so it's she's so good and. This making, I was like, wow. I just made that connection. So this guy, Matty Healy, he's the lead singer of 1975 on some rock band. So he's successful in his own thing. And so the song about him is The World's Shortest Man or whatever. And so I think he was I think they had a great, they love music and singing, I'm guessing, but I think he partied too hard and just said, I think he's too much of the rock star, but she has some lines about she'd rather burn her whole life down than listen to all this, gripe, like her fandom trying to tell her what to do and how to live. She'd rather burn her life down than listening to everyone trying to
chime in
I'll burn my whole life. And I love that line. I was like,
and then she does talk about Travis a little bit in the So High School song.
She's kissing while his friends are playing GTA, that one. Or whatever. Yeah. I was like, how young are his friends? They're playing video games to the side. I'm not even allowed to play video games.
And then she does another song, and the manuscript is about John Mayer, talking about a large age gap and that she wished she was 30. But then after they broke up. She was so distraught. She was only in her mother's bed. So
the lesson from Taylor Swift is you can have everything and really just have a hard time, because I always really think once you're in the $100 million world, like what could be wrong? And then she can give you 30 records that show you.
Well, because humans are humans. And when you have a human relationship, whether it's a friend or a colleague or a lover, and it doesn't go the way you wanted, then it's going to be hurtful. So unless you really are like the devil, it's going to be hurtful. It's going to affect you. So it's gonna give you anxiety or whatever your thing is. And okay, so let me see if there's anything else here. So
that's Maddie Healy.
Maddie Healy about the situationship. I love that expression, by the way. And then we have the Joe Alwyn wanted to keep his relationship personal. There's our 6 relationships. We got Travis. Then we got Travis's girlfriend, his ex-girlfriend, Kayla Nicole. And I mean, I do kind of feel for her a little bit in that she has her own thing going, and anytime she speaks about anything, the Swifties come for her. But that's not Taylor Swift's problem.
And they could be bots.
And they could be bots, but also she can't. Even if she was like, "Hey, everybody, lay off Kayla," it's not her job to do that, and that's Kayla's thing. And she's, needs to maybe focus on some element of being an influencer that has nothing to do. And also know that even 3 years from now, if she's the model for some clothing line, there's going to be comments in there from Taylor's fans being little bitches. And that's what it is.
You also chose to date a public high profile athlete. So once you go in that world,
once you go on,
you're not dating a private, lawyer or a stockbroker.
Yeah, exactly. Once you decide to date Tom Schwartz on Vanderpump Rules, like the Joe Girl, get ready for people to have an opinion.
Yeah, and it's nobody's fault.
That's part of it. Just know it.
But now it's Taylor's turn.
Do you think they're going to get married?
100%. I think she's going to have baby. I got in multiple arguments with people that they're like, this is all for show. I'm like, no, it's not.
I have an episode where I predicted when they would get engaged. And it's May. It's around the corner.
I hope so. I think maybe the Paris show,
That's what I said. The Paris show and something, it's because I think he's sort of basic. And Diablo Cody, the screenwriter, is the one who gave me that idea. So I don't want to take it completely for myself. But I think that's in May. And I think she's like 33, right? So I think she wants to get on the baby train, and I think she wants to do it right. I think she wants to be, not that it's wrong, but I think she wants to do it traditional for herself and for her parents. I think she wants to be married and then get pregnant. That's my opinion.
This is going to be, the royals should just retire. There's after this, there's no more. I think
they kind of are.
But now it's a wrap. There's no, respectfully, there's no more Meghan and Harry. There's no more King. Once they're married,
let me go. Let me go
to be begging Page 6 to be posting.
Let me just go to what's going on with the royals, since you're interested. Did you get the jam from Meghan Markle?
I thought it was coffee. She had the coffee first. She was at the
coffee.
She was at that coffee shop. You didn't see that, or she's
just
roasting beans or whatever.
Oh, just working at a coffee shop for fun.
Or the social media,
like Ben Affleck going and making donuts at Dunkin' Donuts,
or Sheena at Chili's.
Yeah.
I love that. I guess Brock, her husband, did a TikTok please go. I can't even do my Australian.
In Australian.
And he's like, go so give her the comment section. Give her some love.
He's like, give her some love. No, she and Katie did a commercial for Chili's. It's really cute. And it's genius. Chili's kind of up in their game, being like, we have espresso martinis. So feel like you're living the Vanderpump Rules life with an espresso martini. That's the hot drink. But yeah, they look cute in it.
I thought it was great. But no. The jam, I bet Heidi ordered it for me. She knows how much I love Meghan and Suits. So
you think so? Okay. So you are a Meghan fan, or
huge one? Yeah.
So do you think this is a good move, creating this company, American Riviera Orchard? A lot of people think it's a very long name, but I guess that's the actual name of the orchard in which she lives on, or where she's grabbing her berries from.
I was more excited about that she figured out a way to do a reality show without saying she's on a reality show, which I feel like the Polo show is the way to do the.
What's the Polo show?
She's executive producing with Harry, following the professional polo, which.
I didn't even know this
world,
which we've never seen. And I just went to my. I've only been to a polo thing twice out in Coachella. So right before Coachella started, we were out there, and they do the polo. And my friend has her booth or whatever you want to call it. And you kind of dress up and it's fun. I wasn't watching it at all, but it's fun just to see it. So what is that world? I want to know that world. That's smart.
When we lived in Santa Barbara, Heidi actually, because she would go with her friend to the Santa Barbara polo grounds, and she kept saying, "This is a reality show. This is a reality show." So she said it for years. So I was like, "Hey, your show is getting made." She said, "I was like, the one thing you're missing, you didn't have Harry and Meghan on your pitch, but that world is the richest people ever." And they all come together and they drink.
Unlike race horses, they're not little. They're normal sized men, right?
No, I mean, it's more of the owners too. You're getting owners. No, these are guys. They're that guy famous Camacho or whatever.
Yeah,
they're famous. That one Argentinian guy is
not that there's anything wrong with men who are little who are jockeys.
No, they're not jockeys. These are big men.
Yes.
Men. These are men that lots of women and men. Everyone loves them. So
and then you got the rich owners.
You get the rich owners. You got everyone hanging around the world, and then you have our new Harry's in the matches.
So they're just EPing this. Or what are they doing?
I saw cameras on the field, like BTS shot.
In Santa Barbara?
No, it was on a different, maybe in Florida, I think.
Oh.
And there, the cameras are shooting it like they're on episode of The Hills. He's in the full outfit. She's there. And then he, I guess, just announced that he is not, no longer British. What was this? Prince Harry officially renounces British residency and lists U.S. as his new country on the documents. Could be a tax thing, Also, maybe he didn't want to pay pounds and
I don't know, but I think they're gonna now. They tried the documentary situation. They tried the podcasting.
Let's go.
And they realized it was harder than it is. And now they just follow us around. That's what people want to see.
I mean,
and if we're going to be with other really rich people hopping on private jets,
people too.
Yeah, just throw in a charity event here or there, and it looks like you care about people. I love it. The
best clip, though, I don't know if you saw it online, but after the trophy ceremony, there was this young
the polo trophy ceremony.
Yeah, there's this young woman standing next to Harry, whatever, and you see Meghan.
This is back.
That was old footage.
That's kind of old. Where she's sort of taking it and taking part of it.
No, this is
there's a new one.
This is last weekend.
Okay, sorry.
And she's standing next to him, and she you assume she whispers "Don't stand there," and the lady moves, and then she said it was just this is the show I want to watch.
Oh wow,
air this. We're good to go. Let's go Netflix.
Yeah, I say go for it.
Yeah,
I mean she's. Beautiful and stylish, and I think it would be a hit. I think people are intrigued. People may not like her, but they're intrigued.
We've talked about it 2 years ago, and the fact she still hasn't figured out a way to get in with Taylor. She should have been Ice Spice, how Ice Spice jumped in with Taylor, the bestie. That should be Meghan. That her team did not figure out a way. And everyone could negotiate where Meghan and Taylor
could be friends.
Hang out, and Travis and Harry could do polo. It's such a no-brainer.
Right. Well, Travis has his new show, which I think is a good idea.
So if Harry goes on, Are You Smarter Than Celebrity? He got 10 million or something for that.
I think that sounds like a really fun show.
Oh,
you should be one of the celebrities.
I better start studying.
Yeah. It was a fun show. It's a great combo of updating an older show with celebrities and having a likable guy that he can clearly do it. It's not a hard job to host a show, but he, hosts his podcast. He's a good personality. He was on his own reality show before her about chasing Kelsey or chasing Travis, whatever.
Show.
Yeah, about dating. So there we go.
I'm surprised that wasn't in your box from Peacock.
Oh, so I
Your
got
vault.
I got a gift from Peacock, and I want to say, now I don't know how long this was in the works, but I swear to God, I think I gave them the idea to bring back these old shows because a few months ago, I kept talking about, oh my God, you guys, $1 Million Matchmaker is on Netflix. And it's so fun to watch these shows from 2008 when Patty Stanger had her old faith. No one had lips. No one had eyelashes. The outfits were horrible, everything. And I'm like, and it's fun it's like calming to watch that time of life because you kind of remember like what your life was like, and you know everyone has Blackberries and flip phones, and it's just like whatever. So then they go, okay, now I don't know if these shows are how long they're gonna be on Peacock, but they're all the old shows. So I got a big thing, and each one is 2 chocolates with Bravo and Peacock on it, but each one says a different show.
That's so funny. I thought they were all like USB. I thought you were the only one that got them. I was like, they sent her that many USB. She's got to hook these up to her computer.
You can watch all these shows on Peacock. And so last night, I watched Tamra's getting married, Tamra from Real Housewives of OC, because I was in it. Peter and I went to the Vegas bachelorette party. Couple bachelorette party. Peter went with them and Terry Dubrow to the strip club while I was with Heather Dubrow and Tamra, like gambling at the Palms.
Palms was popping when it opened. It was the spot when the Maloofs had it and they first opened.
And then the wedding was at the St. Regis, and I brought my sister Shannon because Peter and the boys had a plan to go to like Whistler. And I was like, I'm going to this wedding. And like, I realized I wore red, and I go, oh my God, before the show started, I go, I just found out it's wrong to wear red to a wedding or something. It's supposed to be like, that means you slept with the groom, whatever. But there were like 8 women wearing red at that wedding. Bright colors.
Maybe somebody did.
Gretchen was like the bright colors of that like era. Like it was a little cheese, but her dress still totally stood up Tamra's. Like her look, totally timeless, gorgeous. And so I watched that last night. But you could watch them all on Peacock.
And they weren't available until this week.
No, until like last week.
Wow.
None of those were available. You could go far back in like OC and watch like the original episodes, but these shorter shows that were only like New York City prep.
What's the Nene one?
Nene had a spinoff, Nene's Wedding.
Yeah.
The like a $1 billion decorator with Martin Ballard. There's like 15 of them, and
you gave them the idea.
And the Rachel Zoe. The Rachel Zoe project is great. The clothes and
these people were so,
and she was so thin, and everybody thought she's so skinny, Rachel Zoe, and her husband doesn't seem like he's. I'm just saying, I'm not saying, I said people didn't think he was heterosexual. Cut to 15 years later, they're still married. She gave birth to 2 kids. They're still a happy family.
Say a lot of people are that thin now, too.
Some people are just thin. I don't know. But yeah. Okay. Now, I like to go on the TikTok. This girl, Becca Day, Bekahday. This is her work. But a lot of people are going deep dives on Corey Gamble, Kris Jenner's long-term boyfriend, and where he came from and what his history is. And some people think he is, one time Kanye said he's a plant, that he works for the government or CIA. One time he said that in an interview, but people are like, Kanye's crazy. In this girl's deep dive, he played football. He was a good student in high school. He went to Morehouse College. He got his business degree. So he had like a pretty like exemplary, like good boy life. Okay. Then right out of college, he was like on jets with all these like moguls. He's known Diddy for years. He knew this guy. Do you remember this show?
Oh yeah.
This was G's and Gents or something. Short-lived show on MTV where it was about, because people would see P. Diddy have this guy holding an umbrella, and he was dressed like a old-fashioned butler kind of, and he had a short-lived show. Maybe Peacock would like to buy that one, where it was like how to be a gentleman, like executive assistant for like a big hip-hop mogul. And so they were friends, and she just goes very deep into to what it is. So there is a lot of photos with all of them with P. Diddy, but that doesn't mean anything. You know what I mean? Like you're with popular people and you're rising up and being famous. And of course, P. Diddy and them and are taking photos. Someone went down all the way down into Kris Jenner's Instagram from 15 years ago and collected every single photo that she's ever taken with him. And what do you think is going on here?
You know, as crazy as Kanye is, allegedly, you know, he wouldn't agree with that.
Yeah.
He was around Corey the most, you know, out of all. So the fact that he is this suspicious of him and would be like, we haven't met any of your family, you know, that's what he said on that one episode. Because I deep dove after I was a good hour into TikToks last night.
Yeah.
And Heidi's like, what are you doing? I'm like, research, honey. So that makes me get extra suspicious because he's not saying that about anybody else. You know, there's a lot of people in that entourage.
Yeah.
And then you go back and you're like, how did he become Justin Bieber's tour manager? And then the Diddy Justin Bieber stuff that is so creepy. I don't care what anybody, that when he's like 15 and he's like, I'm doing 48 hours. Have you seen this?
Wait, tell about this.
So Justin Bieber does 48 hours with Diddy at Diddy's house. And when he's like
14.
He's 14, and it's just so weird. And then you connect.
It's like his camp.
Yeah, his
which
camp.
Usher also went through.
And Diddy was Usher's legal guardian when he was, and he's already said the stuff he was exposed, you know, so that connection that.
And, you know, these parents are like, oh, my God, my kid's
Canada.
talented.
He doesn't even know
kid's talented.
What's going
okay, he's going to be a star. Just like the people that whose daughters thought they were learning music from R. Kelly. You know, they were not, they're like, I have this talented kid that has been plucked from obscurity. Like, what do I know?
Or
you know,
quiet on that set thing. And all these kids like, you know, Heidi's like, where are the parents? I'm like, they think they're on Nickelodeon. They're on a job. They're making all this money. Like, you don't think this is, you know.
And like, I do want to say there are
good cases.
There are pedophiles in every single industry, you know, and the pedophile seeks out where there might be a crack and somehow they can convince a parent that they're good for the child or whatever. So for people to think like it's all pedophiles
just
in Hollywood, that is
Hollywood.
not the case. But are there bad people in this industry? Yeah. Are there bad people in churches? Yes. At schools? In all industries it exists. But, you know.
So that was where, you know, I'm not saying I don't know anything. I'm just a TikToker here.
And we're not saying that P. Diddy is a pedophile or anything happened with Justin Bieber. But these are the things that are getting people to go because it's out there. There's videos, there's
creepy
photos, and you're like, let me just put two and two together for fun.
Yeah, and then you're like, okay, so he was the tour manager, and then right when Kris Jenner leaves,
Corey was the tour manager of Justin,
and then boom, he's with Kris Jenner, right? You know, when the Caitlyn stuff's ending and he's locked in.
Yeah.
And then how do you jump to like you're hanging out with Jeff Bezos? I know Kris is friends with the new, and so with Jeff.
I think that's all through Kris being from the very beginning. Kris, besides her being super famous, but she was always super charming. She soaked in, she basically learned how to be a businesswoman from Robert Kardashian and his friends. She did not go to college, and she would know how to be charming after every meeting, no matter what it was. A gift would be sent and flowers. And so people like her and she's likable. And then, you know, of course, Lauren Sanchez would like to be friends with Kris Jenner. Who the fuck? Like, of course you would. And of course she wants to be friends with Lauren Sanchez and Kris were running around the same circles 17 years ago through Jillian Barbary. And they didn't form a friendship then. They formed a friendship when she got engaged to Jeff Bezos. But that's okay. You know, now they're at the same level and go have some fun on a yacht. I have no qualms about it. I have no qualms about it. And then this is her significant other. So, of course, they're going to invite him in as your boyfriend. And same thing goes with the Ellen DeGeneres. Ellen DeGeneres, when she had her show, one day, like the last 3 years of Ellen's show, I swear to God, every week, 5 days a week, at least once a week, there was a Kardashian on that show. Every week.
Oh, I thought
it was ridiculous. I was like, this is ridiculous. Whether it was Scott or Courtney, every week. I mean, if somebody wants to add up how many times a Kardashian was on Ellen's show in the last 3 years, it was they bought a house right next to them at Madison Club. Then they were hanging out, and then he was like, "Here are my girls." When they were getting married, there's a video of them, and Corey's like, "My two girls, Portia and Ellen." Portia and Ellen were on a plane with Corey because we're like, we're gonna buy art now. Corey's an art aficionado. But maybe he is.
And watches. I see he's all over watch talk.
But I mean, he probably does know more about luxury watches and Ferraris than I do because I'm not buying those things.
No, it's where it gets weird is
he's always been nice to me. I will say that.
The new conspiracy on TikTok is, I'm sure it'll end this week because she'll pop up on Instagram. But Chris fled the country is what people are saying, because she has not been seen since Diddy's house was raided, because supposedly her and Corey are on these tapes. These all allegedly is what the TikTok is saying, which if TikTok does get banned, where are we going to get all these stories from? I'm like, what?
Well, what's great about podcasting is no one can take it down from me, but I am going to be more select about what I spend time with my editor about what to cut for the clips. And I'll tell you, as juicy as this conversation was, this is not going to be on TikTok because it won't get views. Anytime I do a thing about the Kardashians, it does not get views because I think they have power to keep those things from being seen. I just really do. Or they've said, watch these 10 accounts that I think know more information than not. I don't know.
I think it changed. Like 3 years ago, it was like full, like this would blow up. I think now that AI has definitely,
so I'm like, but
the game's over.
But what's great is like, but with some of these TikTokers who do great material and it's only a couple minutes, they're not going to get the following to do a podcast for an hour. So it's like maybe TikTok going away
will help some artists.
Not that I wanted to. I definitely don't want any kind of censorship of any kind at all. So, and I appreciate all the work that they do. That's why I bring up TikTokers and get, reference
boost
them.
This, TikTokers, boost it.
Yeah, or if you want to cut it and put it out there, that's fine. But like,
prove us wrong.
Yeah, maybe we will. But who knows? But there's a lot of talk like that. But I also, when the raid happened, and they were like, yeah, the raid is one of the things I saw about that with, again, people that are supposedly inside talking about this P. Diddy thing, is the cops allegedly that did the raid, the SWAT, whatever it was. No, it wasn't SWAT. I guess it was just a raid. They didn't know whose house they were raiding. And the theory behind that is because Diddy is so connected that if they told the police, hey, in 2 hours we're going to Diddy's house, then Diddy would have known. He has connections with LAPD and so the cops going allegedly were not told what house they were going to, so that P. Diddy would be surprised. I
totally believe that. It's a small town when it comes to these things. Another part of this conspiracy is the Kim Porter factor.
Yes, who died.
Corey Gamble is in the photos next to the coroner with
the day she died of pneumonia.
Diddy's, who had, I guess, said things about Diddy. I don't know why she get murked out, but it is like, whoa, why is Corey there with the dead body?
And I mean, these pneumonia, heart attack deaths.
Have you seen Michael Clayton? They just put the needle in between your toes. You see Michael Clayton with George Clooney?
Wait, what's the story?
The movie, Michael Clayton.
The movie.
With George Clooney.
Yeah.
Have you seen it?
No, but I mean, if it's a small injection.
They put it right between your toes.
So
you can't
then when
see
you
the
go
needle.
on an autopsy, but the thing is, of all her next to kin, we're all connected to P. Diddy. Someone has to say, when someone dies of something like a heart attack, whatever, someone has to say, I want an autopsy. And unless the police actually think there was foul play, then you pay for that. And it's about $2,000. So then you pay for that. And depending on the coroner or the autopsy person, they go through their body and they look for any scratch or any needle mark, whatever. They might miss one.
So
what if it was like in your tongue or something? Like it would be very hard, a tiny needle of some injection to find everywhere. In every scalp, you could put it in your head. Like how would you see that? If it's not just here, like it would be hard to detect. Okay, I see an unusual spot that looks like it was within the last 24 hours, that looks like it could be an injectable needle. And if this some type of drug makes your heart stop and it's undetectable, which who knows in this world, it probably is, that could be something. Now, was Kim Porter a mother of any of Diddy's kids, or did she just like work at the record place?
That I wouldn't know. But what's interesting is that Kid Cudi said that Diddy like burned his car, like blew up his car. So like there's not like, we're not over here in conspiracy land if this rapper is saying that Diddy, something happened and his car exploded the next day. You know, and supposedly Tupac was killed with beefing with Diddy.
I met with this manager years ago that was representing like Diddy and J-Lo, but he also had like comedians. And I was interested. He wanted to like represent me, but I went with this other guy just because I felt like this guy was like too flashy and would forget about me. Anyway, he said in his kind of bragging about his company, he said, you know, we just had a meeting with P. Diddy and he comes in and he lays his gun on the table. And I thought it was weird, but I also was like, well, maybe that's what rappers do. Like, I didn't know this was like 1997. So I'm like, is that how like rap, like, is a gun almost like a cell phone at this point? Like, I didn't know, like, I didn't necessarily think it meant like that you could go off and you'd use it. I just thought it was like, I don't know, just not something I'm familiar with. I've never owned a gun, but like. On a
rewind, back to the whole Kanye being crazy and the CIA handler thing, I feel like 4 years ago, I told you that story about when I met with that CIA guy at the Beverly Hills Hotel. Do you remember this?
No, tell me this story.
So now it's like 7 years ago, maybe 8. So I wanted to be in the CIA in Hollywood. And I was working on this project with the Marine Corps where I was like doing a documentary at Camp Pendleton that I was funding. And I asked the colonel, I was like, yo, how do I get in the CIA? And he's like, oh, let me make a call and somebody I know you can go to lunch with. So I go to lunch with this guy at the Beverly Hills Hotel who says,
do you actually want to be like hired for the CIA?
I did.
Like a whole nother career.
Yeah, I did.
Oh,
this is
really?
before
Interesting.
I got back in the game on Juicy Scoop.
Oh,
you know,
okay.
I thought it was fame was a rap. So
at
I was
one point, I remember my dad wanted to do that, like early on in life. And there was one point where they said you needed a law degree. I don't know if that was FBI or CIA,
That's FBI.
Then they said no, you don't anymore. But the time that my dad was looking into it, it was you needed a law degree. FBI. So anyway, go back to the CIA.
So I go to the Polo Lounge and I'm quizzing this guy who's in Hollywood that says he's like, he doesn't say CIA, but you know, he implies that this is a thing where the CIA is in Hollywood. So the idea that Corey Gamble is connected to this thing that I was trying to get involved with. The weirdest part about this story, I don't want to say 3 weeks later, but a month later, maybe so soon, I am like checking the news, whatever. And that guy I met with choked to death in Gelson's on a piece of meat or whatever. This is true. I swear.
Wait, he's walking through Gelson's.
Like, I think he like, supposedly the story, he like tries the meat and
like went down the wrong
and chokes to death. The guy that I met with that was talking to me about all this world. I was like, dang, maybe they really didn't want me to know or whatever. That's a real story. And then back to the weird things that connect with all of this to me. Because there's also a TikTok conspiracy, allegedly, that Heidi's plastic surgeon, who I never believed,
your wife,
drove off that cliff.
Yes.
That they proved later, because initially they said he was texting and driving. And it's like, I know Dr. Frank Ryan. Guy was like, there's no way he's texting and driving. He's not that type of person. His phone's probably in a pouch, in a bag. If, you know, also this was so long ago, nobody was texting, was like 555 7. You know, it's like texting was so, maybe texting it just, but it wasn't like, so he supposedly drove off PCH into the rocks and died. There is a TikTok conspiracy that Diddy had him killed because Cassie, supposedly, allegedly,
the woman who has received $30 million for being abused by him. Yeah.
Dr. Frank Ryan put her implants in. She comes out of surgery and Diddy says, they don't look good. Take them out. And Dr. Frank's like, I have to wait 6 months. I can't, like, I'm not doing that. And he forces Dr. Frank, would be God. And the medical you've been under.
And he forced her to do it. Yeah, that was one of the things she talked about in her lawsuit was that how traumatic that was.
She says that happened.
Yeah.
So then it's not so crazy that the guy who did that then gets murdered. because that's why we moved to Costa Rica, because we knew he got murdered and we didn't know if it was connected to something with Heidi and I. We're like, we got to get out of here.
How long did you live in Costa Rica?
Just till 4 seasons got too expensive. But for like 3 months, you know. This is right that week. The next day, like we were on the plane that day that he died, because we're like, whoa, they're killing Heidi's surgeon. Her lawyer just supposedly he supposedly killed himself. R.I.P. Peter Lopez, but he definitely did not kill himself.
Wait, whose lawyer?
Our lawyer. So in like 1 week, Heidi's lawyer supposedly kills himself in the backyard, and then Heidi's plastic surgeon goes off the road. We're like, we are out of here. You know, we're not paranoid. This is weird now at this point.
Wow. Well, all I know is Corey's always been delightful to me.
And I'll go to the floor with the Lakers with you.
I also think famous rich people become friends, and you have photos with people and you go on trips with people, and there's nothing that says anything, but that all these connections, being there when Kim Porter died, all that stuff, being friends with him is why people are talking. Exactly. Because P. Diddy has all these eyes on him and looking at 3 of his homes being raided. That is why people are talking about it.
And I wonder, though, if he really had cameras in every room like Epstein, because...
Is that what they're saying?
No, they're saying that you see that server photos from the raid, like the server. Oh, it was like a server.
Computer server thing?
Like to do the cameras.
Oh, it's like a huge thing?
Oh, like, so supposedly the whole house, and that's these tapes. It's not necessarily like from the freak off parties or whatever they call it.
Right.
That's also the thing. Like, it's a known thing, like these clips, like a Diddy party is no, like, you know what? I don't know.
Yeah, all the freak off parties of just basically orgies, guys, girls, both, whatever. I want to watch it. I want to bring in someone to do this. You need to do all these things. Imagine
Kris Jenner is just at a freak off party. No, I'm just saying, like, what, like that clip.
My personal opinion of it is anyone that's rich and powerful and Hollywood connections, she is going to invite them to dinner and have a drink and think they're lovely. And in my opinion, at the age that she was, you know, she didn't become famous till she was 50. It's my opinion that I don't think she was ever doing anything nefarious, but does she want to be friends with famous rich people and act like they're our favorites and they're so fun and they're so great? Yeah.
So you're saying she was at a freak off party as a guest, just
drinking her martini.
Yeah, woo! I mean,
I'm not going upstairs. Yeah. No, I don't know. Very sad, you guys. Another TikToker, beautiful girl, only 29 years old, Eva Evans, who I followed because she had these stunning blue eyes. I can't really remember what material she did. I just remember she would come in my feed and she would, you know, give her opinions on things and talk about kind of a variety of TikTok type of stuff. She has died. We found out yesterday. No announcement of what from.
I hate that.
Well, they don't know.
Oh,
they're not revealing it.
Oh, okay, that's a deal. Yeah.
The other girl, Kyle, who died last week,
had cancer, right?
She had colon cancer, but they have still not said if that's what she died from. Because it, you know, some people say you can die, whatever. But she was literally doing a video the week before and looked good. So it wasn't like she was in hospice or whatever. We don't know if it was any kind of self-inflicted, if it was maybe an accidental overdose. Nobody knows how she died. They have not announced it. And nobody knows how this girl died.
Do we know where Corey was? Is he in any photos popping up?
No. I don't really know where the girl lived.
You know, I think it's, you know, I'm just throwing this out there, but it's all I ever read about is fentanyl, Lennon Swift fentanyl, that they were taking a Vicodin.
It could have been.
You know, they're not accidental. It's just that fentanyl.
Right, it's a mistake. It's a cocktail mistake.
Yeah, you take a Xanax that's a fake Xanax with fentanyl, you know.
Or it's not fentanyl, but you mix something.
Yeah,
and you don't wake up.
No idea.
And it wasn't your intention, but we don't know. But it's very weird. So somehow I came across this.
It is weird, though, that the owner just sold.
So the owner of the Abbey, he also owns the chapel. It's right there on that corner, very close to now the no longer pump. Sir is still there. Tom Tom's and the Abbey. The Abbey is like the longest running gay bar nightclub. They have dancing, they have outdoor, they serve lunch, drinks, you know, dinner. And this has been going on for like a few years of people talking about how they felt like they were roofied at the club. and that it seems like it was coming from bartenders there. Where women, but I also saw a guy say that he thought it happened to him too. But a lot of women, and so people are like, wait, what? I thought this was a gay bar. But I think that's why if this is in fact true, why that's the perfect plan if you're trying to kidnap and sex traffic women. Because they go to the Abbey thinking, I just want to dance and be with my gays and have some fun. And I want to be hit on by guys. And, so I think that's why their guard is down and why it has happened. And so this pretty girl, what's her name? Bold Glamour is her name. Oh, wait, this is Billie Lee. Is this Billie Lee?
That's Billie Lee.
Oh, this is Billie Lee. She looks so pretty. She is pretty.
I think it's a filter.
It might be a filter, but whatever. It's working. It's working for her.
No judgment. I'm just saying.
Billie Lee of Vanderpump Rules. She tells a story that happened to her a few years ago. Other people are saying things are happening. The place sold about a year ago, in which, just all those kind of things of someone being like, oh, we'll help you, and trying to get into an Uber after, where similar are like, this is your Uber, and then being like, wait, who are you here to see? And they're like, the Uber guy's like, just get in the car, just get in the car. So I don't know, but it's not great advertising for going out in West Hollywood, because I think that's what people think. I think they think it's LGBTQIA. I'm a straight woman. I just want to have some fun and some drinks. I just want to dance. I'm not looking to meet anybody.
Boom.
And so your guard is totally down, and it's not necessarily, we don't know if it's a reflection of the club or if that's where they're going and you're not looking, and a normal patron is just dropping something in your drink or whatever. The argument was, or the theory is, that actually bartenders are getting a kickback to put the stuff in, which is really bad if that's in fact true.
That one gets hard. That's like, I understand the criminal person doing it, but to be,
that's
to
a
get
lot
connected
to say.
To that kind of kickback, you
all
risk
alleged,
it going.
All alleged, not saying it's true at all. But I mean, this is why, but this one girl was going like, do you just want us never to go out as women? Like, can we have one thing? We can't even go to a gay bar with a bunch of gay guys and not be possibly trafficked. I mean, horrible. But, again, you got to be really careful when you're out, when you're having your third or fourth drink. That's when your guard is down, or maybe you've been drinking all day, and you want those mixed drinks when you're drinking all day, and those are the easiest ones to do. Maybe you don't want a beer, but at a certain point, I guess you got to say, give me the beer and let me see you open it. I mean, I guess that would be the only safe thing that you could
after
drink.
3 drinks.
Right, that's exactly it. But I'm saying that's probably the only safe thing that you could do, right?
Here, I'm just trying to think my new product I need to invent is a cover that goes over your drink. So when they pour it in, if there's something in it, I
just feel like when it's that much, it's why go out?
I'm just going to have a water out of the plastic bottle.
Then just don't even go out.
Yeah, that's...
but even if you got a Diet Coke, someone could put something in your Diet Coke. So it's it's just a matter of going out in these places where your guard is down because you are talking and you're being social, which is the whole fun of going out to a bar. Otherwise, just stay at your own house and drink in your backyard,
Which is a lot of fun. I stand by that brand.
But then you can't do alone either because you might drown in your pool.
Well, that's if you're engaging in ketamine, I think that's right. You drown just from drinking? I thought that was ketamine.
Well, but anybody could drown. You're not supposed to ever go swimming by yourself. Did you know that?
Period. Yeah, because you have a
whether
heart
they're
attack
sober or not.
Anything.
Yeah. And you should always have one other person, one other adult there, even if it's just you and your kid.
Lives. I'm realizing this is just the most helpful, juicy health. There he is.
Are you watching The Valley?
Heidi is. So I'm always scrolling when she has the shows. I'm a secondary viewer, but I'm so happy for this whole cast, Alex Baskin and Bravo. But it's very sad that Jax and Brittany, I saw this coming because he came on our podcast, and
tell us
before it would have been airing dirty laundry.
Okay.
But before we started recording, he clearly was going through.
How long ago was this?
It was a week before that
premiere.
No,
or the announcement?
It was right before, when it started kind of coming, it was so connected.
So a couple months ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
It must have happened. And he was like, marriage is so, he was going off, and Heidi and I are looking at each other. He's like, you guys get it. And we're like, and he's looking at me like, you better not talk about me like this, so like intense.
Like he was raw. He was coming off of something.
It was like weird, like a break, like it was over type energy.
Right.
Like it was so hectic. I was like, man, I don't think this, like my thought was this is not going to last. And then it didn't last, but it is sad because I could tell you wanted to make it work for the kid. That was the energy.
For Cruz, yeah.
But I don't think so. But I am so happy he has his restaurant and, he's, a lot of people were coming for me in my comment section and DMs about his, at the end of the day, he has been Jack since I first started watching him, so.
He's so authentic.
Yeah,
that's why he's a great reality star. And he's funny.
Yeah, so
and when he's dissing somebody and when he's being a dick, it's him. It's just him.
I don't have and I'm always, if people are nice to me, how they treat me, people are like, oh, but his behavior on the show, it's like, I don't know. Last time I actually watched him on the show, he had his shirt off in a parking lot. It was like 20 years ago. So that's like the last episode I saw.
I've had him on the show a bunch and he's always, been really great. And I'm happy that this show came. The show is the surprise of reality TV because all these people are so real. And I think people went in thinking this would be a boring show. I don't want to see something about potty training and babies. And it's not that at all. It's whether you're living it yourself or you have friends that are new mommies, or like me, I'm past this stage, but they have a girl that's suffering from postpartum that just had twins, and she's being honest about that, and she's explaining it really well in a way that I didn't have it, so thankfully so, but I think she explains it really, really well. And she's struggling with it. So we see the struggle with them.
Let's hope she doesn't do horoscopes.
Why?
Did you not see that story?
What story?
With the horoscope, influencer, last a week
Wait,
ago?
tell that story.
You didn't see the horoscope influencer
what?
Stabbed her boyfriend and then killed
in Woodland Hills.
And everyone in the comment section was saying, "Oh, it's postpartum." I was like, "Whoa, that seems like some
that was
type.
a horrible thing." I'm a woman who had a boyfriend and an 8-year-old and a small infant, went crazy. Completely crazy.
On the eclipse day.
On the eclipse day was like astronomer, not astronomer, astrology. Killed her boyfriend, got in a car, threw her 2 kids out the window. And I want to say the 8-year-old lived and maybe the baby didn't. And then she crashed the car and died.
Yeah.
So way to bring it down. As if this wasn't down already.
She's trying to give the value. She's not like that.
She's not.
Just checking.
But she's being honest about her struggles and her husband's being super supportive. So we get to see them. We see another couple who's doing real estate together and they are now separated and she was just on a date with someone else.
It's a hard time to be in real estate.
Hard to work with your spouse and hard to do real estate. As a daughter of 2 that were real estate couple, let me tell you, I used to go to bed and be like, when will these 2 have the sense to call a divorce attorney? But they made it through and they died married. But I'm telling you, it's not easy. So we get to see that. Then with Jax and Brittany, they're the OGs of reality TV and they have a 3-year-old and he's seeing a speech therapist. So they're sharing that. And I'm sure that adds to the struggle of a relationship if you're worried that your son is not making milestones.
We experienced that. Gunnar did a speech. What people don't realize, and we made the mistake, sometimes the tongue is too tight. So you actually need a dentist. I don't know, maybe I'll DM Jax, you could have a tongue tied and it's not a speech delay. It's that the tongue is too tight.
That's where the tongue tied expression comes from?
Yeah.
Interesting. I was slow to speak.
So there's people that get that and then they're totally fine.
I was slow to speak.
I don't know if you got a tongue tied.
No, but really, I just remembering I went to speech therapy.
Yeah,
and people will still say, Heather, you mispronounce words and you aren't great at speech. And I remember one time a teacher saying I have a phonics issue. So I still had something, but I obviously have done okay in life. But I was, for a couple of reasons. One was I was youngest of 5, so I could just point and all of the kids got me stuff. But I remember not being able to say spoon. I remember being young enough, sitting in a high chair, and my mom was like, why can't you say spoon? And I was like, boon. And so
maybe
it can be something, and also my nephew did speech therapy too, and he's a sophomore in college and obviously got over. Some people are just, and especially boys, are just a little bit slower. The other thing that with Brandon, he was speaking, but it kind of capped out at a certain amount of words. And I was like, shouldn't he have more words? And when I looked into that, we had a Spanish-speaking nanny who also spoke English. But I was like, ooh, speak Spanish to him.
Half his words are in Spanish.
Yeah, speak Spanish. No, but sometimes a kid will pick up both languages, but sometimes it'll be too confusing for them. And it'll hurt their ability to get more language.
Well, our 18-month-old actually has too many words. I'm like, yo, you just stop talking. You're supposed to be a baby. If I drop something, he's like, trash. I'm like, what the? What are you working for your mom? Like, what the frick's going on around here?
Yeah. So, but it's hard when you're around a bunch of other kids, and you see that these little girls that are Cruz's age, maybe were speaking much more than. We hope whatever they're doing, they're getting the help, but that doesn't help the marriage. Now, the latest rumor is that he, is hanging out with this publicist that they both shared. And, people are on these sites saying, I saw them being flirty. I saw them go to the bathroom together, all this kind of stuff. But these sites are all anonymous people saying it, which could be anybody. It could be a producer from the show. It could be an enemy. It could be someone who just is like a weirdo and wants to see what they can put out there. I don't know. But in hearing that information, she has now stopped following Jax and this publicist, Brittany.
Well, I was defending this when I saw that photo, and Heidi was like, would you ever be in a photo with a woman like that? Like,
they were like too chummy in the photo.
And I was like, I don't know if it's our post. She's looking at me like a laser beam through my eyes. So I was trying to defend, but I agree. I don't think I would ever, especially with everything that's going on.
But there were also photos in the past where all three of them, and one's with just she and the publicist, like all three of them were like laughing and putting cake in each other's mouth. It didn't look like a threesome, but it looked like they were really fun. But also I'm like, why is the publicist in photos at all? If you're the publicist, you should be there taking them.
Ask Larsa Pippen about that one. Okay.
Why? What did Larsa Pippen say?
Remember, that's the drama with Jordan. What's his name? Michael Jordan's son.
Oh, yeah. Marcus Jordan.
Marcus at the BravoCon. There was a big drama because
really? What's this story?
One of the Miami housewives was asking him to take photos of her, not of Larsa, but of this other cast member.
Yeah. And
then Larsa had a thing about this, like, why are you asking my man to take photos of you? So
well, sometimes you're just, sometimes in those situations, people are coming up
on his phone.
Well, I think that's a lot, because sometimes I've been at parties or whatever, and someone's like, can we get a photo? Or I need a photo. And I'm literally, someone walking by, and I'm like, can you just take a photo for us? Is that rude to do?
I mean, I think maybe there was more than like, what if it was like a little shoot, I don't know.
I saw that they're back together now.
I saw that Miami Beach.
It's exhausting, but it's okay. Good for them.
Yeah. Is that publicist have a podcast coming out soon?
She probably has one too. I was a publicist. Yeah. No, but I mean, it does seem a little chummy. It does seem like, why are you in the photos? But I don't care how many people pretend that they want to be just behind the scenes. Probably 99% of everybody would like to be famous and get a taste of it. Until they don't. I mean, a lot of publicists. That girl from Summer House was a publicist, Lindsay. Her job was being a publicist, and then she was on Summer House. Do you imagine hiring her to do like your event when she is her own famous reality star? Do you ever watch Summer House? Lindsay and Carl, they had a broken engagement. Now they're getting married. But her whole thing was a publicist. And for years, they'd still say, Lindsay, publicist. I'm like, she's not a
she's a cast member.
She's not a publicist anymore. She's a cast member. What do you think she's putting together somebody's chair? Like, that's who you're going to hire out of all the publicists.
Put together a Chiron.
Like, if you're going to hire someone for $10,000 to do a publicity event for you or whatever, to be your publicist on staff, I think someone who's currently on a reality show would be the last person I would hire to do my publicity.
Unless she brought the show to the event.
Right. I guess that would be the only hook.
Like,
maybe that's
I'll
why.
have her come to Pratt, Daddy. I'll book her right now if she brings Summer House to my crystal shop.
Okay. So, Spencer, tell everybody where they can get more.
Oh, my God. It's over? Why are these podcasts getting so short? Can't we do a bonus hour for Patreon or something?
Do you want to? You want a little more time?
I am not in a hurry, but I was kind of kidding.
Okay. Well, then wait. Let's end it. And then let me use some of this for Thursday. Can I do that?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. But first, so in case people don't come back to Thursday, tell everybody where they can find you and Heidi's music and everything you guys are doing.
Please go to Spotify if you have Spotify and follow Heidi. not just stream, the follows count, because then it like puts you in the algorithm. We got to build those up. If you're an Apple Music person, play it on Apple Music. It's called Superficial. And then Spidey's 16th Minute on all platforms for our podcast.
I love it.
Yeah.